here we are at the beginning of yet another week. How are you? I'm a little bit excited as usual. The main reason being I've nearly finished my podcast course where I'm going to teach a class full of virtual students from all over the world and helping each and every one of them have 8 published podcast episodes in January 2019. And also, I've just heard that I'm going to be travelling to Barcelona to cover the Magento Live event. So I'm quite excited about getting some good interviews for the podcast there too. But enough about me. This show's not about me. It's about you guys listening, and it's about getting a great guest onto this show. And today, I want to chat to Paul Appleby, and he's the CEO of a company called Kinetica. Now, Paul appeared on my radar when I read that Paul believes that the data that is generated through business activities has become more valuable than the business activities themselves. Just thinking about that line blew my mind a little bit, but he did say that that's heralding a new era, which he calls the extreme data economy. It's a great interview with so many valuable takeaways about something that all businesses can relate to in a world where data is widely considered to be the new gold, while equally going from the biggest asset to the biggest liability in some cases too. But rather than reveal too much about today's interview, let's buckle up and hold on tight because it's time for me to beam your ears all the way to California so we can speak with Paul Appleby, CEO at Kinetica. So a massive warm welcome to the show, Paul. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Oh, thanks, Neil, and great to be here. Wow, where do I start? I've had an incredible journey and the opportunity to work with some of the world's leading technology companies, but I've also had the opportunity to get out of technology and work in media and in financial services as well. So I've had a pretty broad-ranging set of experiences.
Fantastic. Now, you're not only the CEO, but also a board member of Kinetica, where you're responsible for accelerating Kinetica's growth and furthering the company's international expansion. But for anyone just tuning in here, hearing about Kinetica for the very first time, can you just offer a little overview of what Kinetica is and what problems it solves for your customers? And, of course, what makes it different from everything else out there?
Yeah, Neil, I'll tell you what got me really excited about Kinetica is that over particularly the last 5 years, as I've travelled around the globe and worked with some of the world's largest companies, we've all heard this ongoing narrative of digital disruption and digital business, the fourth industrial revolution or the industrial internet. And as I got to know and understand the challenges that confronted different industries, I realised that whether you're talking the automotive industry, the media industry, financial services, these challenges ultimately were all about data and solving huge complex data problems and in fact leveraging the power of data to create new business models. So what got me excited about Kinetica was the fact that here was a young company with an incredibly innovative technology that was designed to do just that. So what I came on board to do was sort of take this incredible technology that our two founders had developed out of a federal government project, actually, and the early fantastic customer base that we had of some of the world's largest companies, and grow and scale the business not only domestically but surprisingly for a company so young internationally.
I recently read that you believe that the data that is generated through business activities has become more valuable than the business activities themselves, and that is going to herald in a new era which you call the extreme data economy. Can you expand on that a little and the story behind that belief?
Yeah, it was interesting. I had the opportunity to attend the World Economic Forum for the last 5 years, and I think it was this year that Angela Merkel, speaking of the German economy, said effectively that Germany needed to shift from being a manufacturing and distribution engineering-driven economy to being a data-driven economy, world leader, that data in and of itself is an incredibly valuable resource and that business models of the future will be driven around data. The way we engage with our customers, the way automation and robotics are affected, the way that the autonomous vehicle is brought to life, all of these environments will be data-driven, and as a consequence, we're moving into an era where data in and of itself is going to be valued as an asset just the way other assets are valued by companies and by countries.